Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, another collab video. Hope you guys have been enjoying the movie reviews as of late. I just did one with the Saint Maud movie review. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Yeah, there's a lot of news that we have missed and some news that happened just recently. Um, and we're going to talk about all of it today in this one video. I'm not going to remove any of these topics. So we're just going to jump right into them right now because we got a lot of them, and we got to get through them all. So so excuse me also if you just see me drinking water from time to time in the video, just because it's a lot of videos and we just got to get through them all. So let's get into this thing. So the first thing that we're going to talk about. Before I start, just to reiterate, my new short film is coming out very soon, June 5th to be precise. And when you see this video, that means that it'll be out. This video will be out on June 5th, so that day. So yeah, my film will be out today, around 7:30 p.m. So make sure you guys go check out the film. I'll have links to it in the description box below, and of course we'll talk more about it in detail, possibly in like a vlog of some kind. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's called One, just to let you guys know, and I'm very excited. And we'll talk more about it in the future, or in like the next few days or so. We'll see. But anyways, let's get into this video. A lot of topics. Let's get started. So okay, so so the first topic that we're going to get into today is about Amazon. Amazon did something that we talked about some time ago. Some reports went out. Now it's official. Amazon has bought MGM Studios. Now, if MGM Studios sounds familiar to some of you guys, it is the home of James Bond and Rocky, and they will now be owned by Amazon. There's still some reports coming out about how this whole purchase is going to go down. What does the deal entail? Mainly, obviously, what we're interested in is how is this going to affect our movie releases? Like, how does this affect the lineup for 2021 from MGM? From what I've heard, all of them will still be given their theatrical run. All their theatrical plans will still be intact. Those films include, like, of course, No Time to Die, Addams Family 2, and House of Gucci, which just wrapped recently, the new Ridley Scott film. So they won't be really affected by this, but really, what's going to happen to future releases? The big one, obviously, being Creed 3, which actually just got some casting today by Jonathan Major, I believe, was casted in Creed 3, which pretty good, solid choice. He's getting some interesting roles lately. I believe he's also going to be in Ant-Man 3. So, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Lovecraft Country, so I can't really speak on his work. But good to see him getting some work. So, but yeah. So Creed 3, I would say, is the big one in question. I have to assume that it's likely that these can become hybrid releases, like the same strategy that Disney Plus is doing, and to an extent, to what the other streaming services are doing. HBO Max also. I don't believe something like a Creed 3 would become a streaming exclusive, but again, I'm not sure what their plan is with that. But yeah, so likelihood for future releases could be hybrids or streaming exclusives. We don't really know, but yeah, it very much depends on what Amazon believes to be the best strategy for these movies, and I think that it's most likely going to be hybrids. I just feel like that's probably going to be the route because that's what everyone else is doing right now. I don't see great results from them. HBO Max is pretty much like kind of backing from it next year. Disney Plus, I just learned Cruella did not perform well on Disney Plus. Apparently, it actually performed even less so than Mulan. So that's concerning too. But so they might back out of this too. Depending on maybe on how Black Widow does, but it'll be interesting to see what their strategy is with their future releases moving forward. Nothing affected for this year, but for future releases, it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward. But yes, Amazon now owns MGM Studios. So next bit we're going to talk about speaking of Amazon, with the announcement of Amazon buying MGM Studios, they also released, I would say, their first trailer, but there was another trailer that came out like some time ago, but it wasn't really a trailer of sorts, for The Tomorrow War. I just realized that was an awkward moment to drink. Sorry. But yeah, so the new trailer for The Tomorrow War had also dropped. It stars Chris Pratt and some newbies, and is directed by Chris McKay, the guy who gave us the Lego Batman movie, and I don't know if he's still working on the Nightwing movie. That was a long time ago. I'm going to assume he's not. It's going to be released on July 23rd of this year on Amazon Prime. Of course, this was the film that had a huge deal made. I believe it was like a $200 million deal with Amazon for them to release the film exclusively through Amazon Prime. And it basically looks like Terminator. I mean, they literally take lines from Terminator in the trailer to use as their own. And I don't know if it's trying to be funny. I don't know if it's trying to be serious. Like, I'm not sure what the tone is trying to be, and I feel like that's probably the big issue with the trailer. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sold on the idea. I mean, it strongly reminded me of Terminator, and in some cases it felt like kind of like a parody of it in some sorts. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not that interested, to be honest. I mean, I'll watch it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll be watching it, but I don't know. I'm not really that excited for The Tomorrow War. It just didn't really grab me. I just think it just felt too familiar for me, and I was hoping to be a little bit more distinct. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look too great, but we'll see. Maybe it'll turn out to be some good fun, but that is to be seen. Okay, but another trailer that dropped. This one actually dropped today, so this is a recent one. We got our first trailer for Reminiscence. Oh my God, Reminiscent. The new Hugh Jackman movie. I'll put it that way. Starring Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, and Thandie Newton. That name sounds familiar. She was on Westworld, and it's also being directed by someone who worked on Westworld, Lisa Joy. Has a release date of August 20th, 2021 on HBO Max. I thought the trailer looked interesting. I'll say that. It has some promise to it. I like the idea of there being a mystery in the midst of this sci-fi adventure. So I like those elements. I think Hugh Jackman looks okay, to be honest with you. He doesn't look like he's really pulling his strength in this film. I don't have a lot of faith in it. Also, just because I don't know, stylistically it looked okay, but I wasn't really wowed by anything. So I mean, it looks promising. I'll say that, but I'm not really that stoked for it. Reminiscence. I don't know how to say that. I don't know why I can't say that word, but yes, Reminiscent. I'm just gonna say that. I think that's the way you say it. Reminiscent. Looks interesting. I'll say that. I'll of course I'll watch it, but I don't know. I'm not really that intrigued so far. So it looks okay. It looks okay, to be honest, but promising maybe. All right, first trailer. Another first trailer. Lots of first trailers for these movies. For Old. Yes, the new M. Night Shyamalan film. Starring Alex Wolff, Thomasin McKenzie, and Becky Krebs, who was really good in Phantom Thread, by the way. Of course, being directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan, and is coming on July 23rd, 2021 in theaters, so no streaming thing with this. I thought this looked okay. I feel like it showed its hand too much in the trailer. I feel like I know a little bit too much about the film, and I think filmmaking-wise, it looks kind of small. And I understand that that's what the purpose of the film is. It's meant to be set on this beach, but it just doesn't feel that... I don't know. It feels like we're missing more from the film. I feel like there should be more surrounding the film, a few more elements to be represented. Um, it just doesn't feel complete, if that makes sense. Um, and a part of it's also because they filmed in the pandemic, so it looks like the word I just found it looks restrictive. That's what I mean. Um, and a lot of that is due to the fact that they filmed it during the pandemic, which really worries me because we've seen what happens when you film stuff like this during the height of the pandemic. Um, you could see the results that have been made because of such things. Films like Lockdown, which was just bad. But it looks okay. I hope there's no like monster thing. Like I hope that's not the twist. I hope there is an interesting angle to this, but it looks okay. I think also the acting didn't look too great from everybody. They don't look like they're meshing well as an ensemble. Particularly with even though I just said I loved her in Phantom Thread, I think Vicky Krieps looks a little off in the trailer. But again, it's just a trailer, so maybe we'll watch the movie and it'll be completely different. Who knows? But I don't know. The trailer didn't really impress me that much. So, okay, two more trailers. First trailer we got for this one also came out today for Demonic. This is Neil Blomkamp's next film. For those who don't know Neil Blomkamp, he directed District 9. He also did Elysium, and most recently he did Chappie. Which, by the way, I revisited Chappie, certain scenes from Chappie. It's not as bad as some people made it out to be. It's at least from the scenes I saw, it looked okay. Some scenes looked fairly done. Demonic looks to be a little bit of a departure for Neil Blomkamp, though, because it's more or less a horror film. It's not much of there are sci-fi elements to it, but it's much more of a horror film than anything else. And it has a release date of August 20th, 2021, and to my knowledge, it's in theaters. So it's not anything exclusive to any streaming platform or will be hybrid released. But I felt the trailer looked kind of weak. Now, again, I think the movie itself looks interesting, but I think that the trailer kind of hopefully did not represent it well, because the trailer just didn't. I don't know. They were trying to be stylistic, and I didn't like it. And I hope that there is more to the film. And I don't know. It also looks cheap, a little cheap. I don't know how much the film costs. I know that he operates low budgets, but I'm just curious if I can find a budget price for the film, if there is one out there. Let me go to the IMDb. Yeah, I have not seen anything. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. So, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, it looks interesting. It's I was just looking at, sorry. I was looking at the cast. It's a bunch of unknowns as well, so I don't know any of these people, but it looks interesting. It looks like visually it looks interesting. The premise has some promise to it, but I just feel like the trailer just didn't do any justice for it. So, and speaking of, the last trailer we're going to talk about is for Infinite. This one actually had some news on it separately from it. Apparently, Mark Wahlberg and the crew behind it are not happy because this film is going to Paramount Plus. It stars Mark Wahlberg, Chiwetel Ejiofor. It's actually directed by Tony Fuqua, the guy who gave us Training Day and The Equalizer. He also did the remake of The Magnificent Seven. It has a release date of June 10th, so very, very soon we'll be seeing this. It'll be released through Paramount Plus instead of theatrically. And apparently Mark Wahlberg and the other people were not informed of such thing happening. So, yeah. I don't know. I'll say this. The first, 30 seconds, I would say, it's the trailer. The first, 30 or 40 seconds, I thought it looked interesting. I was like, okay, interesting setup. And then a car flies through the holding cell or the interrogation room, and then it became like a cliche action movie for me. So if it is more what the trailer showed me, I'm gonna be disappointed. I might be a little disappointed. I'm not sure, but if it's anything like those first 30 seconds, I might dig it. Who knows? But um, I mean, it looks. I don't know. Everyone, I don't know. Mark Wahlberg looks tired in it. The it just feels kind of flat. Like it doesn't feel like that there's much to it. It just I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there's much flavor to it. Um, but if it's anything like those first 30 seconds, I'd be down for it. But it's probably more like the car chase or the action spectacle type film that I'm probably expecting and probably will receive. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't really that impressed by the trailer. So okay, so that is all the trailers. So now we're gonna get into some news bits. Now we're gonna get into this first one that actually happened today. I was at the beach and I read the story, and I don't know why people are not talking about the story. It has to do with John Boyega. It just happened today. So apparently John Boyega is working with I forgot his name already. Let me pull up the article just so I can talk about this more in length. But he was working on a film called Rebel Ridge, and it's being directed by I believe Taylor. What's his name? Hold on, let me get his name up because God, I forgot his name. Taylor Saulnier. There we go. He's worked on two films, or some well-known genre films like Blue Ruin and Green Room. That's the film that people most know him for. But yeah, so John Boyega was said to be the star of the film, and they were actually shooting this movie for about a month now. They said but May 3rd is when they started filming it. So by the time of this recording, today is June 3rd, so now it's been about a month's time of filming the movie. And apparently they were halfway done with shooting the movie. Well, apparently John Boyega had exited the project due to family reasons. They haven't specified on what, and to be honest, we don't really need those reasons. But here's what Netflix had, because Netflix is also distributing the film. Netflix had this to say about it. They said, Rebel Ridge is pausing temporarily as we look to recast John Boyega, who needed to leave for the project for family reasons. We remain committed to Jeremy Saulnier's extraordinary film and look forward to resuming production. We look forward to continuing our partnership with John Boyega's Upper Room Productions, in addition to our upcoming film, They Clone Tyrone, in which he also stars in. And then this all comes from Deadline also, and Deadline also goes on to say it's an unusual turn, which I want to emphasize because a lot of people are probably going to, read this and say, "Oh, this happens all the time." This hardly happens at all. We have heard this type of stories before. Funny enough, with John Boyega, we've actually heard it with Star Wars. Remember with the Han Solo project, where Phil Lord and Miller were booted out of the project. They were fired, and then they got Ron Howard to basically reshoot most of the film. That was a very odd circumstance, and that was very highly unusual. This is in that vein of highly unusual turns, because this hardly ever happens, especially midway through shooting. That's very unusual. But I don't know. We don't know what happened with Boyega. Obviously, whatever it is, it's highly urgent, and I hope everything's okay with his family, whatever's going on. And we don't need to know anything about his family. We don't need to know what's going on. We're not owed that information, nor should we know that information. All I can really say about this is that I hope that John Boyega and his family are all okay, and that everything gets better. And same thing for the production. I hope that they find a replacement very, very soon. That has got to suck, man. I mean, you're midway done of shooting. We filmed a month's worth of film, and now you have to toss that all out and now you have to get a brand, because he wasn't just some supporting actor where they can, just maneuver around it and still be able to move forward. He was the lead, so he was in pretty much most of the film. So yeah, they have to start from square one, from scratch again, and that's gotta suck. Um, I don't know if if they're gonna delay the film or not. From what it sounds like, they're still moving forward. Yeah, they said that they're looking to get a new actor in within a few days' time. Um, yeah, I would probably delay the film at that point. I'd probably delay production for like at least a month or two to get your replacement in. I wouldn't, I wouldn't. I don't know yeah, that's a shitty situation to be in. Uh, yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, that's personally, I would talk to Netflix, and I would probably advise on delaying the production a couple of months, or at least like, yeah, a couple of weeks for us to sort out everything, for us to get another actor in line, versus pushing forward with a new actor who has to get vetted on the script, memorize the script, hang out, or be able to mesh well with the other cast and crew. You need a little bit of time. You can't just get that person uh, in the next few days. Well, they're saying they're drafted, so that means they might pay. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing. It sounds like that they're just looking for an actor to hopefully get in there in a few weeks' time. Um, but yeah, I would probably delay the production, but we'll see what happens. This is just a very odd situation. I mean, I know people will brush past the story, and they won't acknowledge it, but it's very, very unusual to see these types of things happen. I mean, we've seen it before, as I said, with like Star Wars and other things, with higher budgeted films. This is presumably a very smaller budgeted film, maybe a little bit more because of John Boyega, obviously, or maybe not anymore because without John Boyega. But nevertheless, though, the publicity will still be there because with this whole story out there. But just on paper, the idea of an actor, the lead actor, leaving the film when they're halfway done, it's very unusual. And again, I don't fault anybody here. I don't fault John Boyega for what he did. I don't fault the production. And it has nothing to do with creative differences or anything, because I heard some person online, he's like, oh, this is a phrase used all the time. Nonsense. Okay, the Boyega is, they're very clear of what he needed to attend to. It's no creative. They would have said creative differences at that point. And even if that was the case, I mean, why would you allow him to be a part of this movie and let him shoot halfway through if you guys had creative differences? That's what meetings are for and all this stuff. So no, it's not creative differences, guys. It is as they say, it is a family reason. And again, we're not owed any of that information. All I can say and all we should say is, wish Boyega luck. Hopefully everything works out with his family. Hope everything's going okay. And for the production, hopefully they get an actor in line that they believe will be a great replacement, and hopefully move forward hopefully move forward to create something special and hopefully make something unique and interesting to watch. But yeah, this is a very interesting story and just very unusual, just very, very unusual, the circumstances. So yeah, hopefully John Boyega's okay. Hopefully everything's okay with his family. So. Okay, let's get into the next story. So this story is this one is a little bit interesting because we've been talking about this for a while now, and that has to do with Joker 2. Now there is a report out there, or an article from the Hollywood Reporter. I'm not sure what the whole article was, but there was an article that was put out that involved Todd Philips, and it indicated that Todd Philips has signed on to co-write Joker 2. Also with that Joker 2 now being a thing. Now, the report from what I read only indicated that Phillips is co-writing. Now, they didn't say anything about directing or anything. Now, my theory with this is, let's just take this at face value. Like, Todd Phillips, co-writing the script. Only co-writing the script. if Joker 2 is happening, which sounds like it could be moving forward. I mean, we've heard about Joker 2 for a couple of years now. So, or yeah, Joker 2 came out 2 years ago, or Joker, sorry, came out 2 years ago. So we've been hearing about it for a couple of years, about them possibly doing a Joker 2. They want to do Joker 2. I mean, and they will do Joker 2. I don't think, they won't. But if they are doing Joker 2, I have to imagine that it won't be with Todd Phillips directing, or likely with Joaquin Phoenix returning. It sounds like that they're moving in a different direction. That's just a feeling that I have, and I feel like that's because the studio clearly wants to do Joker 2. I just feel like that they're in I feel like the reason why we have not heard it yet is because they have been probably talking to Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix for these many years, and it sounds like that Todd Phillips is willing to write the script, or at least help with writing duties, but he's not willing to do anything else, like directing wise or producing wise. Or Joaquin Phoenix, he doesn't want to indulge himself in that type of role again, and wants to do something a little bit different. Which for both those reasons, for each person, I completely agree with and completely understand with. Have yourself creatively go elsewhere. But yeah, it sounds like they're moving in a different direction. Now, just to emphasize, co-writing means assistance. It doesn't say he's penning a new script or anything. He's only co-writing. So, that doesn't really necessarily mean that a lot of the script is going to be his. Then again, him and Scott Silver wrote the first one together, so that that they like. I'm assuming that if Scott Phillips is also helping out with Joker 2, that could spell some things for maybe Todd Phillips maybe coming back to direct and Joaquin Phoenix coming back. So I guess it all depends on Silver's return, on what direction WB is taking with Joker 2. Is it sticking with what made them money, or trying something different because the moneymakers said no? Because I kind of feel like it's up to Scott Silver at this point, if he is helping out with writing duties, if it is Todd Phillips and Scott Silver writing the script together. I mean, that's the original writers. I mean, it would maybe that will translate to him becoming a director of the film, and translate Joaquin Phoenix to come back. Maybe. I guess it depends on if Scott Silver is the other writer in the room. But we'll see on that. And just to be clear, Joker 2 will happen either way. I mean, it's just a matter of what WB is looking to do with it, and basically like stick with what worked, or do something new. Because when you have the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, plus the most Academy Award nominations that year, from a business perspective, you'd be a fool to not do a sequel, or at least do something to that degree. So yeah, they're going to do a Joker 2. So don't think that they're not moving forward with a Joker 2. They are. They just haven't figured out everything yet to make an official announcement, but they are doing Joker 2. So now, speaking of comic book news, Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter has been something that's been in development for a while. I've heard about this stuff like way back in like 2016. Well, now we have some news. We actually have our lead. It's Aaron Taylor Johnson. Now, according to Deadline, this is what they had to say about it. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast as the lead role in Sony's Marvel film Kraven the Hunter. Deadline first reported last summer that J.C. Shander, who directed a Most Violent Year, and most recently a Triple Frontier, which that Triple Frontier was actually not that bad. It was all right for what it was. He'll be directing this film, which is a new entry in Sony Pictures' universe of Marvel characters. Insiders say that Taylor Johnson came on studio execs' radar for the part after dailies for his upcoming action pick Bullet Train, directed by David Lynch, started coming in, where his scenes would blow away top brass. Taylor Johnson plays one of the main assassins in the pick, and according to one source, his scenes with Brad Pitt were so impressive that the studio acted fast to get him on the phone with Chandor. When the role carries a ton of heft, I mean, while the role carries carries a ton of heft, insiders say some of the actors like Tom Hardy, who are now playing comic book characters, helped ease the pressure of taking the role. And after that one phone call, Chandler and Taylor Johnson hit off that a deal was sealed fairly quickly. Now, to emphasize, they had also revealed later on that there were other candidates, other high-profile candidates that they had in mind. Those being Brad Pitt, Keanu Reeves, Adam Driver, and John David Washington. They were all approached for this role. Apparently, Aaron Taylor Johnson, at the end of the day, ended up getting the part because of his work on Bullet Train, which is very interesting. The film it also has a release date for January 23rd, 2023. I'm a bit vanilla on this casting. I personally was rooting for Joe Manganiello. I know a lot of people wanted Joe Manganiello for the role, and I was kind of rooting for him to get it. I also had heard recently that Sony kind of made it clear up front that they do have plans to merge their Sony properties with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or at least have them connected in some capacity. They basically just said watch No Way Home to see what happens with that. So with Kraven the Hunter, I have to imagine, because people were just like, oh, how does this affect the MCU? Well, I mean, if they're doing a multiverse, which we know they are, then it doesn't affect anything. Aaron Taylor Johnson is probably just from a different universe. So I think that'd be the simple explanation for that. But that being said, I mean, just from him alone, I think he's okay from what I've seen. I kind of wanted Joe Manganiello for this role a little bit, but I'm not upset that he's Kraven the Hunter. I mean, I can kind of see him play the part well. I'm just not. I just kind of was hoping for someone. I don't know. I feel like there were other candidates that I had in mind rather than Aaron Taylor Johnson. But again, I mean, this could work. I mean, I had other people in my mind that I thought maybe could have filled those shoes out better. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, he could maybe do it. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see how they get this film, and what angle they go forward and all that stuff. Because this movie, like I said, I heard it back in like 2016. Like, that's how far this movie has been in development. Way before like the early Tom Holland days of Spider-Man. So, but yep, looks like Kraven the Hunter is moving forward. So that would be interesting. I wonder if this is like their setup like Sinister Six. Like, is Kraven the Hunter a part of the Sinister Six? I'm not sure. I don't read comic books, but interesting to say the least that Aaron Taylor Johnson's got the role, and mainly for how he got the role too, how fast of a deal that was made. So, but speaking of castings, this one happened today, and this one I actually am kind of stoked on. Donnie Yen has been casted in John Wick Chapter 4. According to Deadline, Donnie Yen will play an old friend of Keanu Reeves' super assassin John Wick, who shares his same history and many of the same enemies. When I read that, I kind of think of one thing, and that is Keanu versus Donnie. Please have this happen. I want to see these two fight. I want to see these two go down. That would be awesome. I'm really happy that Donnie Yen's a part of this. This is great casting. If you throw in Uma Thurman in there too, I mean, come on, that would be amazing. Uma Thurman and I'm trying to think of some other cool people. I don't know, but I kind of want Uma Thurman in this franchise also. But Donnie Yen, that's awesome. He fits right into this, and I want to see these two go at it, and it sounds like they will. So yeah, I'm excited. It sounds like John Wick 4 might be starting to film pretty soon, so I'm excited to see that. Oh yeah, and another story that I forgot to mention. This one happened today. Mission Impossible 7. They hit another halt in their production. This movie's been through a lot. They apparently just got hit with another setback because they had gotten another test another positive COVID test on their set. So now, unfortunately, they had to shut down production. Again, I have the report here from the IndieWire. They say filming in the United Kingdom for Christopher McQuarrie's Mission Impossible 7 has been shut down due to positive COVID-19 test results that surfaced during routine testing. And in a statement, the studio has said, quote, "We have temporarily halted production on Mission Impossible 7 until June 14th due to positive coronavirus test results during routine testing. We are following all safety protocols and will continue to monitor the situation." Reports began to emerge out of the Sun that filming was shut down at Longcross Studios in Chester, Surrey, where Tom Cruise and the crew have been filming the 7th installment of the franchise. That report said Tom Cruise was in self-isolation. IndieWire has reached out to Cruise's own representatives for comment. This is at least the third COVID-related delay for Mission Impossible 7, which is now scheduled to be released from Paramount on May 27, 2022, followed by a streaming release on Paramount Plus in July 2022. The filming was first shut down in Italy in March 2020, and then filming resumed in September, and then was halted again after 12 people tested positive for the virus. And then December of 2020, that's when the whole Tom Cruise rant thing happened. And then, so this movie's been through a lot. And this is now the third related incident with Mission Impossible 7. Very, very unfortunate. I mean, obviously, they'll be back in filming pretty soon here, but I have to imagine it's been frustrating as hell filming this movie, especially for Tom Cruise. Which, by the way, I mean, the rant that he did, I think when I first heard it, I was like, he was out of line. More times when I hear it, I'm like, oh, he was totally justified. So he was totally justified in what he was saying. Absolutely, especially all the stress that he's dealing with. He absolutely was right in saying what he said. So. This really sucks. I mean, hopefully because this also goes to show you guys that just because vaccines are out there does not mean that everybody has either taken the vaccine or has gotten the vaccine yet. There are still people out there who can get COVID. There are still people out there who do have COVID. And stuff like this can still happen. So I believe this, in terms of production, this one I feel like has had the hardest time. I mean, the Batman had setbacks too, but I don't think to this degree, to my memory at least. This will be an interesting, it'll be interesting to see how this movie unfolds in the next couple of months. I hope that they're probably done by like July. That's my hope, because they've been on this movie for a long time. So, it's very unfortunate to hear the setback for Mission Impossible 7 again, especially of all the other setbacks that they've had. So, all right, and the last story we're going to talk about today is actually an interesting one in regards to Steven Spielberg. Now, for those who don't know, Steven Spielberg has West Side Story coming out later this year, and then he I believe he's going to be also helping in producing duties for Indiana Jones 5, which, from what I've heard, might be filming next week. We'll see what happens with that, but well, he's also right now in the midst of working on a biopic of himself. And they apparently have gotten the guy who's going to be playing Steven Spielberg, which is Gabriel LaBelle. This is from Deadline. Sources tell Deadline that Gabriel LaBelle is in negotiations to play the young, aspiring filmmaker at the center of Spielberg's upcoming film, which is loosely based on his childhood. Michelle Williams is already set playing a role inspired by Spielberg's mother, but with a separate and original voice, while Seth Rogen is aboard to play his favorite uncle, and Paul Dano is set to play the character inspired by Spielberg's father. The film will start shooting this summer with an expectation it will be released sometime in 2020. Spielberg, Kushner, and Christy McCaskill-Kreger are producers. So, interesting cast that they're assembling. Michelle Williams, Seth Rogen, Paul Dano. Interesting cast. I don't know anything about Gabriel LaBelle. I have no idea who this guy is, and I'm happy for that. I'm very happy that this is a very unknown guy, at least for me. So I don't have any expectations or getting the immediate Hollywood face type deal, like, oh, it's Michelle Williams, or oh, it's this guy and this that. I'm glad it's an unknown, and that we're gonna be focusing squarely on his performance and all that stuff versus all the Hollywoodized stuff. Like, it's the actor, it's the celebrity. So I never do that in movies, but that's what some people might do when they see certain movies. So I'm glad that with a film like this, with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, Steven Spielberg, at the helm of it, deciding to cast an unknown as his lead and playing himself mostly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this movie does. I'm actually happy to see him taking on a project like this, because he's been dealing with a lot of political stuff and also some blockbuster stuff there and there. I've read Ready Player One, and to an extent, West Side Story. So it's nice to see him going into a different direction and diving more into his own personal selves. So I'm really interested to see what he does with that, and just ultimately how he films it and just his direction of it, his tonal style, all that stuff will be interesting to see. But that's it, guys. That's pretty much it for all the news for today. We talked about a lot of things. I'm just going to add some notes right now. Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff going on personally right now, guys. Like I said, my film is coming out pretty soon here, and just got a lot of stuff going on with that. So excuse me if there's just maybe not some videos from here time to time. But I'll definitely get to a bunch of stuff in the future. I'll definitely be watching some movies. I have some other films that I might be doing some reviews for, so look out for those. But I'll have this video out and some other reviews hopefully in the future. But until then, guys, I will be kind of focusing on the release of my film right now and getting that squared away, and hopefully I can talk to you guys about the film in due time once it's released and everything. I'll send you guys, obviously I have a link for it when it's available. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. And until then, be safe, be protected, wash your hands, social distancing, and all that stuff. And we'll get through this together, guys. And until then, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.